Salutations, Dufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with a different type of presentation. I was done for the day, and then I was called back to my desk to have a conversation that I felt needed to be had for all of you to hear as well. This is my baby. You remember him. This is Papi Suave. We did an interview not too long ago, about a week ago, and it went great. And things were great. And then we started to talk tonight about some of the things, kind of the ups and downs of the entertainment industry, with particular focus on the adult entertainment industry. And some things were uncovered. And we are going to discuss them and unpack them here together so that everyone can hear. And it will kind of cause you to be more cautious in what you're doing and where you are and, you know, what you want to do with your life and where you want to go. I want you to always remember that there are monsters everywhere. So with that, say hi, Papi.
Hey.
Let's talk about what we were talking about on the phone. You have the floor. Just don't say any names and we'll explain why. Go.
Right. So, I was working with a studio.
Give it some context. How long ago?
About a year before the pandemic hit. So,
That's good.
2019.
That's enough context. The year before the pandemic hit. We'll never forget the pandemic. So we'll always remember a year before that. So from your last interview, you were saying, and we knew, you moved from Philadelphia. You had never left your family before, and you decided that you wanted to move to LA.
Right.
Move to LA to pursue a career in adult entertainment.
Right.
Take it from there, baby.
So pretty much I had moved to LA to pursue adult entertainment because I was living in Philly. There weren't too many opportunities for adult entertainers. It was hard to find performers to film with. And, you know, there was just a lot of opportunities. I was contacted by directors. And so I had actually filmed this scene. And pretty much from there, I just realized that, you know, if I'm in LA, it'll be a lot easier to get there instead of having to travel on a 6 or 7 hour flight, you know, from Philly and then back, you know. So pretty much, yeah, I pretty much had came to LA to pursue adult entertainment and to just, you know, grow, make money, and get my name out there.
Right. While you were there, and I mean, I'm going to recap from the other interview because it was amazing. Everything seemed to just fall in place for you. You know, you found a place to live. You know, were working with studios. Everything seemed to be going well. Your family supported your move. You know, everything was great. You took the Spirit flight. You were there. You got the keys to your newer place, and you know, you were ready. What was the name of the first studio you worked with?
So the first studio, that year or in general?
Go that year.
So that year, the first studio that I had worked with was called Icon Mail.
Icon Mail. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, before you moved to LA, you did a scene as well. You did a scene and then
Correct.
moved back home. What studio was that?
So that scene was with Raging Stallion.
Okay, good. So I'm asking you the names of these studios because what I want them to also understand is that you have a lot of aspiring adult entertainers out here.
Right.
And it is very, 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 very rare that you come into the industry of adult entertainment and you hit Raging Stallion, Icon Mail at the top. These are very elite film houses. And I want them to know that it's not, you have to be quite spectacular to land a scene with Raging Stallion and Icon Mail. Please continue.
Right. So basically, that was the first scene I had done. And in the midst of doing that scene, that's pretty much when I was able to secure a place to stay. And that was in the middle of February.
Mm-hmm.
So I basically was able to secure a place to stay. And by the beginning of March, I moved to LA. And that's pretty much what had kicked everything off. I started working with another studio as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty much the sister studio to Icon Mail
What was the
and
name of that one?
Noir Mail.
Noir Mail. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. I'm taking my time and I'm guiding you because I want you to tell your story. We've talked about this off camera. I
Right.
want you to tell your story, but I want to guide you so that you do it in a way that you can't be brought up on charges for libel or slander
Right.
when you do it. Now, the reason why I have you naming the studios is because the scenes came out.
Right.
So we don't have to say allegedly. You did the scenes are for sale right now. So it's not, you don't have to say allegedly there. So you're working with these studios, you're meeting directors, you're meeting crews, you're meeting other adult entertainers. Everything seems to be going well.
Correct.
Right. You're a bright, young hopeful. You've already got it under your belt. There's already buzz about you. And I want to add something in because watching you through that lens, I remember, we're both from the same city, mind you. We're Philadelphians. So this is my brother and my sister. You know, you get that brotherly
Right.
love, sisterly affection.
Right.
I remember when it took off for you because I remember you being in a club. I remember you being on stage and they put those little things on your
Yeah.
on your chest and made, kind of had you, spinning them, but you were basically being introduced to the public at that time.
Yeah.
Guide us into what happened.
So pretty much after I had done the scene with Icon Mail and I moved to LA, I started working with Noir Mail.
Okay.
So basically, I have did a few scenes with them, and everything seemed to be going well. The directors, they made it seem like they liked my work. They liked working with me. I was a joy to work with on set. They told me that the crew loved me because I was really nice. I was really respectful and stuff like that. So, they kept booking me. And, in the midst of me being booked, there was actually something that happened. I had to shoot a scene on a day.
Yeah. So you had to shoot a scene.
Yeah.
And the director offered to give you a ride.
Correct.
So he gave you a ride. He picked you up. He gave you a ride. And you were taken to work.
Right.
This is important. You were taken to work. We all know what kind of work it was. You completed that work.
Correct.
That scene. Okay. Were you given a ride home by the director?
No.
Okay. What happened? Why weren't you given a ride home by the director?
I think the reason why I wasn't given a ride home by the director was because I lived pretty far from where the scene was being shot. And so I pretty much, if I'm not mistaken, I paid for my own ride and then I reimbursed. And that was that.
Okay, so you were home. So this is still the night after work.
Right.
So you made it home.
Correct.
Right. Is it safe to say that you thought you were done for the night?
Correct.
You got a call.
Correct.
It was from the director.
Correct. I got a FaceTime call.
A FaceTime call. And I'm glad that you said that. Thank you for bringing that up because it's not one of those, it's not a situation where it's a voice call because you can record a voice call.
Correct.
This is the one thing I hate about Hollywood. Whenever they want to be real gully, whenever they want to be real grisly, whenever they want to show their monstrous side, it's always a FaceTime call because you can't, unless you know what's going to happen, you can't screen record or you can't, record these calls. So you got a call from the director. What did the
Right.
director say to you?
The director told me that he had needed a friend.
He needed a friend. Did he specify what kind of friend he needed?
Nope, he just said that he needed a friend.
Now, for that, let's give them some context.
Correct.
The reason why the director felt comfortable enough to tell you that he needed a friend was because he confided in you some information.
Correct. Earlier that day.
Earlier that day. What was the information?
On the ride to work, he had confided in me and let me know that he had struggled with alcoholism and that he would have episodes where he would get so drunk that he would black out, fall over, hit his head, and he would end up being found by the cleaning crew of where he was staying.
Because he always stayed in hotels.
Correct.
I have a question for you. Did the director live in the city or did he come in? Was he flown into work?
He was flown into work.
Okay. So the director says to you, because you're under the impression, he's saying, I need a friend. You're thinking that he's battling with alcoholism. He needs some help. And you being the kind Philadelphian, because we are skeptical, but if we like you and if we feel we can trust you, then we'll help you. So what did you do when he said that he needed a friend?
When he needed a friend, I really thought about it because just like you said, I was skeptical, but I had really had to think, I had to stop and think to myself, this person had confided in me that he was struggling with some things. And although I was skeptical, I didn't want it to be a situation where I ignore this person and they end up dead. And now I have that on my conscience.
I want to stop you right there because I want to illustrate something else. When he said he needed a friend, he basically wanted you to come to where he was, right?
Correct. Yep.
Your senses started to react.
Yep.
You didn't feel like it was a good idea.
Yeah, something in the back of my mind told me, think about this.
But trying to be a good person, good with the director, good with the film studio, good with this bright new budding career, you consented to join him where he was.
Correct.
Please tell us, when you got to this was a hotel, right?
Correct.
Okay. You got to the hotel and something happened.
Correct.
You told me, you said the director was so drunk that he forgot his phone at the bar.
Correct.
And you said, now, after he forgot his phone at the bar, how did you get possession of his phone?
So pretty much I got possession of his phone because the bartender, as I was walking in, it was like the reception area where you check in, and it was connected to a place. It was like a bowling alley with a bar and grill. And so they also had a bar where you can drink, and the bartender was coming from that direction trying to give this person's phone to the front desk to let them know, hey, they left their phone. And I told them, hey, I'm going to go check on them. I can give it to them. As I was on my way, he said he needed a friend. He confided in me that he was struggling with alcoholism. So I was very worried. And when he wasn't answering my text messages, it made me worry even more.
Okay. So you politely took the phone and continued to his room.
Correct.
When you knocked on the door, did you get an answer immediately?
No.
How many times did you have to knock?
3 times.
You had to knock 3 times. And finally, the 3rd time roused the director.
Correct.
And he let you in.
Correct.
Okay. When you walked in the room, what was the state of the director? Was he drunk?
Yes. Very drunk.
How could you tell? Was he slurring his words? Could you smell it on him? What was it?
At first, I thought maybe he was sleeping, but as I proceeded to enter the room, you could smell it on him. It was a very strong smell. Okay. Very strong.
Was he clothed?
So I didn't notice at the time. He did have a shirt on, but I did not notice that he didn't have his pants on until I got into the room and really had assessed and processed the situation.
Now I have a question. Now, was the room well lit, dim
No,
lit?
it was dark.
It was dark. Okay. So you get in, you, of course, you don't realize he doesn't have his pants on. He's drunk. You're trying to hand him his phone. You're trying to figure out if he's okay. You're trying to assess the situation. If it at any time did the director turn on a light?
No,
Hmm. So he never turned on the light.
no,
Was there any light in the room, from the room, like from the moonlight or the TV, or was it just completely dark?
no, it was completely dark.
So it was absolute silence in the room.
Correct.
Okay. How did you find a place to sit down in the dark?
So pretty much working for the studio, the first time they had flew me in to work with Icon Mail, that was the same hotel that I had stayed at. And it was pretty much a hotel where they would have like two beds in it,
Mhm.
like full-size beds, and they would
Mhm.
be apart from each other.
Mhm.
So pretty much, from working there and staying there, I knew, okay, so let me sit on the bed, you know, and that's pretty much how,
What you did,
yeah,
what you did. So you knew basically because you had been in this type of hotel before, so you kind of knew where everything was,
right,
including the door to leave.
correct.
Okay. So you sit down on the bed. Does the director come and sit beside you
Yes,
in the dark?
yes.
Okay. So you can smell that he's inebriated,
Hmm.
but he managed to find his way to the bed where you were sitting in the dark.
Correct.
Interesting. So he sits down beside you.
Hmm.
Does he say anything?
Yes. So I was under the impression that he needed a friend. So I'm trying to ask him, hey, what's going on? You said you needed a friend. Is everything okay? He did not answer any of those questions. In fact, he ignored them. But
Hold on, I want to stop you there.
yes.
Um, you said something that was important, and
Hmm.
I want to make sure that it is recorded.
Hmm.
You said that it was the protocol of the studio that they did not contact you, should not contact you, unless it was for work.
Correct.
Mhm. So there was no real reason that he should have been contacting you at all because it was studio protocol and studio policy that none of the stars were to be contacted outside of work, especially if it wasn't for work.
Correct.
Right. I just want to make sure that was in. So he ignored your questions, but he sat down beside you. Was he silent?
He was not silent.
What did he say?
So he went on about telling me how he could make me a star,
Hmm.
and pretty much that he had,
The power, the pull, the clout
yeah,
to make you a star.
yeah, basically making me promises. And it pretty much had nothing to do with needing a friend. It had nothing to do with, needing someone to be there for them as a friend. It was more of him.
So let me stop you. So basically, you already said something too, and I'm going to draw attention to it. Have you said everybody at the studio liked you because you were nice?
Correct.
Everybody thought you were a pleasure to work with.
Correct.
So he knew that you would be nice.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes, he did.
So here he goes. I can make you a star. Um, did he ask for anything in return?
Yes.
Now, mind you, he's sitting next to you. What's going through your mind at this time? Because you're like, because this is the thing, you're there thinking, I'm going to help a friend out. I'm going to help. Now, and mind you, I use the term friend loosely because he's your director. See, I don't want anybody to hear this and say like, oh, well, you should have known better. No, 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 no. He's my fucking director. I work with him. He directs my work. So of course, if my director who is paying me and cutting my check, it asked me to come over, I'm going to come because I want to continue to have a good rapport with my director since he's going to book me for future scenes. Right?
Exactly.
Okay. So I just wanted to dispel, well, why did you go? And no, he was my fucking director. It's like my boss, he's my boss. My boss asked me to come over and help him. So he said, now mind you, so while he's talking about I can make you a star and, you know, I have the pull and the clout and the power, you suddenly realize that this situation is turning into one you don't want to be in.
Exactly. I kind of started panicking because I was really caught off guard.
Mm-hmm. Because it wasn't what you thought it was.
No.
And, you know, they always want to say that this happens to women. No, I want them to understand this happens to men, and not just men. I'm sick and tired. I've been interviewing the adult film community for a reason. I'm sick and tired of the world expecting adult film stars to just accept what happens to them or what comes to them, or to only be used for sex. You guys are people too. You have feelings and emotions. You have nieces and nephews that love you. You have families. You know, you should be treated with the utmost respect as a human being, not as an object. Even though you are the fantasy when you are working, you are the fantasy of what the rest of the world wants and desires.
Right.
So he's sitting there. You start panicking. You realize, okay, this is not what I expected. What happens next, sweetheart?
So he pretty much proceeds to put his hand down my pants. And
so he groped you?
Yes.
Now, I need to understand this. He put his hands down your pants. Were they outside of your underwear or inside your underwear?
Inside.
So he basically grabbed your dick.
Yeah.
He did. What did he say anything when he did this?
He kept making promises of making me a star, making it seem like he was going to help me, making it seem like he was going to give me more opportunities if I gave him what he wanted.
What did you do at this moment?
I told him I was uncomfortable and that I was not okay with this.
His warning. You gave him a warning. This is not what I signed up for. I don't know. This is, now, of course, you're my boss. I want you to book me for scenes, but this part of it right here, this is not what I signed up for.
Right.
So, you voiced how you felt?
Yep.
And what happened?
He then proceeds to get angry and kick me out of his room.
So he removes his hand from your pants, gets angry at you. Did he, in his anger, did he say anything like you'll never work in this town again or anything at all?
He didn't say any of that.
Okay.
But he did tell me to get out, and he was very angry when he said it.
Okay. And what did you do?
I left.
So you're standing in the hallway. Your boss has basically just molested you. What are you thinking?
I really could not believe it.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of in denial. Well, not kind of, I was in denial.
Mm-hmm.
I just cannot believe it because working in the adult industry, coming from Philadelphia, you know, I know that there are a lot of corrupt people, especially people who are in power, who will abuse their power and take advantage of people. And in knowing that, I really did not want to go through that. So when this happened to me, I was just really, really upset. I was just really distraught. Like, I couldn't believe that it happened to me. I kind of blamed myself. Like, I was mad at myself. Like, why did you come here?
I have a question. Let me stop you there. Let me help you with that for a second.
Yes.
Your boss asked you to come to his room.
Exactly.
So I want everybody watching to understand why.
Right.
If your boss, if I had a regular job, and I have had many, if my boss called me and said, I need you to come meet me here, I need some help, some assistance, I'm not well, I'm
Right.
going,
Right.
Papi, I'm going. And I'm going to do my best to make sure that my boss gets what they need as far as the help, you know?
Right.
So you leave the hotel.
Right. And I do want to touch on me
Mhm.
going to him. So I didn't know we were like I was gonna be in his room. I just thought I was just gonna go meet up with him and help him, whether that's just like listening to him, being there for him. I didn't know I was gonna go to his room, and upon, getting there and going there, I'm texting him, so I'm getting worried. So at this point, I don't know what's going on, and I'm starting to think in my head, okay, what if something's happened to this person? Like, what if right now he's passed out, or even worse?
Let me stop you there for a second, and let me show you how my mind works. This is not necessarily what happened, but let me just draw your attention to this. I leave my phone at the bar so that when you text me, you can't get in contact with me.
Exactly.
You have to then bring my phone to my room for me.
Exactly.
I'm your boss. My phone. They have my phone. You say, I'll take it. It's my boss's phone. And now you have a reason to head to his room.
Right.
I just wanted to show you that. Um, so I bet that was a long drive home.
Yeah, I had called an Uber, and yeah, it kind of was a long ride home.
What were you thinking?
I was angry.
Mm-hmm.
I was very angry.
Mm-hmm.
I felt betrayed.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you have to work the next day?
The next day, so it wasn't the next day, but yes, I did have to work with him again.
When you saw him again, how did he treat you?
He treated me like if nothing happened.
Hmm. So
Like
no
he,
apology,
no nothing, no bringing
no
it up,
pulling you to
no,
the side and say, listen, I'm sorry
no,
for last night. I got a little
nope,
too drunk. I'm
nope,
sorry. I wasn't on my best
no,
behavior. Please forgive me. My apology. None of that.
no,
So he just walked around like it didn't happen.
exactly.
How did that make you feel?
It made me feel even more angry.
Mm-hmm. And what did you do about it?
So it made me even more angry. But I knew that I had to go about it a certain way in addressing it, because this is my boss.
Yep.
This is how I make my money. This is how I pay my bills. I literally moved from Philadelphia 7 hours away on a plane to get more opportunities. And I
Mm-hmm.
know that if I rub this person the wrong way,
You are
or
going to be completely
yeah,
homeless, broke, all your whole career will be done.
correct.
I want the people watching to understand the position you're in.
Right.
That if you don't comply, you lose everything.
Yep, I'm gonna face retaliation.
Yeah. So upon him not acknowledging what he did and your anger growing inside of you, what did you do? Did you tell anyone? Did you approach anyone?
No, I literally kept it to myself. I did not tell anyone at all.
How long did that last?
So I want to say maybe about 1 or 2 months went by.
Mm-hmm.
And in that time, I was hoping that, he would address me. He would either call me or talk to me or say, anything.
And he said nothing.
Nothing.
But you showed up to work and he was the director.
Correct.
But he said nothing to you about what happened.
Nothing at all.
Just tried to move on like it didn't happen.
Exactly.
What did you end up doing?
So after a month or two went by, I pretty much just got fed up. Like, I was just really angry. I was really hurt. There's no reason why I should have to wait on you. Like, if you're a human being and you make a mistake, you're gonna say, hey, I made a mistake, and you're gonna do whatever it takes to rectify it. That did not
That's
happen.
true.
So at this point, I call him.
Oh, so you
Yeah.
reached out to him, you made contact.
Right.
What happened in that phone call?
So I had pretty much let him know, like, hey, this is what you did.
Mm-hmm.
You need to make it right.
Mm-hmm.
I let him know, like, why am I calling you? And
You're not calling me to apologize, right?
exactly. He tried to play it off like, oh, I don't remember. Oh, I was drunk.
And I want the audience to understand something too. You're a star and you know you are.
Right.
So when you say make it right, you weren't expecting him to give you some kind of special treatment or
No,
scenes or
no.
no, you were expecting him to apologize for his behavior. That is what you mean by making it right. Am I correct?
Correct. And actually show through his actions and not just apologize and not just use words
Yeah.
that,
Now, when you say his actions, what kind of action were you looking for?
the type of action that I was looking for was maybe to possibly help not only me, but other people who have been sexually assaulted or have been in similar situations, because this is the adult industry. Exactly how you said. A lot of people think that, oh, you're a porn star. Oh, you do sex work. Like, oh, that's expected. No, it's not. So as a professional director in a professional studio, you're supposed to know that, because that's something that they really are adamant about. They don't want to be seen in an unprofessional light, or they don't want any negativity. So, and they don't want to make the performers feel uncomfortable. So
I want to stop you right there because I don't want them to think that you got lost, because you didn't. I understand. Even we were talking before and I didn't understand when you said that to me, but now I do. You said, I wanted him to help me, help other people who have been in the same situation. At that moment, I need everyone to understand that you weren't talking about you. You were hoping that he would get help for his alcoholism.
mhm.
And by getting help for his alcoholism, it would help him see the error of his ways if he got help. Is it safe to say that?
Yes, I'll, get help with his alcoholism, but also more towards the performers, because
Because you can't ask a monster. But at this point, you didn't realize he was a monster. You were new.
I was in denial. Yes, I was in denial.
Mm-hmm. You were new to this. You didn't think you hadn't known him long enough to know if he was a monster or not, but you hoped that he wasn't. So you called him, he denied it. What was your next step?
So my next step was, I let him know, like, either you're going to do what you have to do to make this right because you did something wrong, very wrong, or I'm going to open up and I'm going to talk about this and I'm going to publicize this.
Right. Now, in your effort to publicize this, did you go to his boss? Anyone over him?
No, I pretty much tried to keep it in between us. Because I was in denial, I didn't want to believe that I was sexually assaulted. I was hoping that, maybe he was just a person who made a mistake. So,
But you know what? You and I have this problem too. We see the good in people.
right.
We see the good in people. And one thing I've learned in 20 years of being in this business is that the good that we see is usually not there.
Exactly.
It's not there. So when you told him, if you don't make this right, I'm going public with this, what happened?
So pretty much at that point, he made it seem like he cared. He made it seem like he was going to do everything in his power to make it right, help me, help other sexual assault victims. And the way he made it seem he was going to do that was by working with and endorsing a organization called Pineapple Express,
Okay.
which, if I'm not mistaken, or no, not Pineapple Express, excuse me. I think it's called Pineapple Support.
Okay.
And so they're pretty much an organization that caters to sexual assault victims, especially ones who are in the industry, in the adult industry.
Oh, okay. So there's a whole group of support for and you know that just makes me sick to my stomach because it's just like, why is there a group? Why should there have to be a group? Continue. So he clearly is not interested in any of what you're trying to get him to do. And
Exactly.
in that moment, you realize he's a monster.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do then?
So some time had went by after that
Mhm.
phone call, that initial phone call, and it pretty much was throughout the months and throughout the year of me just trying to apply pressure on him,
Mhm.
damn near force him,
Mhm.
because he really just did not do anything. Like, he did not care. He was just ignoring it, sweeping it under the rug. He did not do anything at all.
I have a
He,
question for you.
yeah,
Did you continue to work?
correct.
So at that point, you were still with the studio.
Correct.
So you start to apply pressure to your boss. Once you started to apply pressure, did you do anything? Did you, I know you did because I saw it. Did you make any public statements? What did you do?
So during that year,
Mm-hmm.
I did nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I did nothing was because I knew what was going to come with me openly talking about this and naming names and actually saying what happened. I knew it could get messy. I knew it could tarnish my career. I knew that that was something that I did not want to have associated with what I was trying to create and what I was trying to establish. So I was really just trying to wait it out, be patient, let this person show me themselves that they are not this monster. Unfortunately, that did not happen.
Mm-hmm.
So a year goes by. Pretty much the next year, I was still working with them, and it was at the point of me asking to get paid more. That is when they stopped working with me.
Okay.
So when they stopped working with me, I still did not talk about it. I still was very much trying to keep it to myself because, again, I just did not want this to be a part of what I was trying to build. And later on that year, um,
Let me
I
stop
had,
you. Let me stop you for a second.
yeah,
So there was no police report filed.
no,
There was no formal documentation.
no.
I just want them to understand that when you have situations like this happen, I know that the law doesn't always seem like it's on your side. It sometimes seems as though, and we've talked about this, you've wanted to tell your story for so long, and everyone, including me, has told you, no, be careful, don't do it. You got to do it a certain way, and nothing will come out of it. And then finally, when we were speaking this evening, and you were basically crying out, saying, I need to tell my story, I decided that I would help you tell it, but in a manner where you could not be sued for slander or libel. So
Correct.
that's what we're doing. So when did you make the video going public with it for Twitter?
The video that I made when I went public for it during Twitter, it had to be in June.
Okay. Is that video still up?
Yes, it is.
Okay, leave it up.
Yep.
So after the video was made, did you hear anything from your director?
So, yes, I did hear something from the so
From him or a different director?
So it was pretty much from the owner of the parent company.
Ooh, so then the owner, his boss, reaches out to you.
He reaches out to me and he reaches out to me and pretty much has a conversation with me where he's trying to express that, that
Basically, that I remember this part, so that's why I took it. So basically, that he's aware of your director's drinking and that he can get a little out of hand and that he knows. And did you at that point tell the owner that you had been assaulted by him?
yes,
What did the
I,
owner say?
I had told him, and pretty much he tried to play it off like he tried to laugh it off. And pretty much exactly what you just stated, he said, oh, I've been working with this person for 20 years. And even when I first started working with them, he had a drinking problem. And this is something common that he would do.
Wow. So the boss is basically co-signing his monstrous behavior.
Yep.
So did the boss offer you any kind of compensation or?
Nope.
Hmm.
No.
So you left that video up on Twitter.
Right.
Did anybody reach out to you besides the boss? Any legal people?
Nope.
Nobody. So what did you do? Because I remember in the story that you did speak to a lawyer, but I want to know what led up to the lawyer. Like how did you get the lawyer to contact you? What happened?
I had contacted 3 separate lawyers.
Okay.
So the first lawyer I had contacted,
Don't say her name.
no. So basically, the first lawyer I had contacted had let me know that person could not represent me because it would be a conflict of interest because they worked with AVNs, gay VNs, who directly received money from the person who sexually assaulted me.
Wow. So he really had a lot of clout in the industry, and he was helping to even fund the award shows, which are usually a sham anyway, because if they decide, and Grammys you pay for, and people don't understand that. I will never have Grammys because I'm not going to be a member and pay dues to no, I'm not doing all of that. So basically they said, oh, well, we can't take your case because it would be a conflict of interest because we represent, clients that this director is quite generous to.
Right.
Okay. So at this time, nobody's willing to help you. You're not finding any support anywhere. How did you feel?
I felt very helpless. I just felt like nobody cared. Like nobody cared.
But yet and still, even feeling like that, you couldn't let it go.
No.
You wouldn't let it go.
Nope.
So pretty much the noise died down between them. So there was no more conversation between you, the director, the lawyers, et cetera, et cetera. So you pretty much been going on this on your own.
Correct.
And also not working with that studio or any of the other studios that you were working with before.
Exactly.
So nobody was hiring you.
Exactly.
How did you survive?
So thankfully, thanks to Just for Fans, which is a platform where adult entertainers can upload their own content. They don't have to work with the studio. There's no middleman. You just upload it. Whoever wants to subscribe to you and pay a monthly fee can do so. That's pretty much how I was surviving.
You were able to keep your apartment in LA, keep your hair cut, keep your body tight, keep food in your mouth. That must have been very difficult.
Yes.
Because, yes, I was going to say, because as entrepreneurs, the only thing better than an income is multiple streams of income.
Exactly.
And you had none because it all dried up after you started to talk. Do you think you'll stay in LA? I asked you this on the phone. Do you think you'll stay there?
So I do love LA, and I do want to stay here for some more time, but it won't be forever.
Okay. I need to ask you, what else are you good at in case you can't work in the adult entertainment industry anymore? What else do you see yourself doing in LA? Like, do you have an idea of maybe going to like a bartending school or, you know, go-going, dancing?
So I do go-go dance. I go-go dance. I also I love to do hair.
Oh,
So I have one client
mhm.
at the moment. Um just exploring my possibilities. Honestly, I love what I do, so I'm going to keep doing the same thing, working in the not so much the adult industry per se, but I'm going to keep making content, filming with performers. That's what I always did. That's how I got into the adult industry, even before I worked with studios, and it's been going really great for me. And so I love what I do. So that's pretty much what I want to keep doing.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you went all the way across the country and left me to find out that there were monsters like that there.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going to say it on camera. I'm urging you to come home. But if you like LA, stay. Just at least until I make millions of dollars, and then you can be in my entourage and we can travel to different places together.
Right.
Do you believe that you'll be able to make a good living enough to maintain?
Yeah, definitely.
So just for fans, it's being good to you.
Yeah.
Um,
Also the go-go.
Also the go-going. How many Twitter followers do you have?
At the moment, I think I have 224,000.
Hmm, good. If only they would all give you $1, right? I know that, yeah, trust me, I know the feeling. I have 125,000 Instagram followers and I'm still using my own money. So, yeah,
And if I may, I also want to touch
yeah.
on touch back to the situation of me trying to contact lawyers. So
Mm-hmm.
pretty much after I had tried to contact lawyers and I had no help at all, I was contacted by a lawyer who represented the owner of the parent companies who had contacted me previously.
Right.
So this person, you
Mm-hmm.
know, tried to make it seem like they cared, like
How
lawyers
much?
do.
How much did he offer you?
This person offered me $3,000 for lost wages due to not filming. And I want to give some context, some backstory. So
Mm-hmm.
working for these studios, when I first started working with them, I got paid $1,000 per scene.
Mm-hmm.
Topping, bottoming, $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
So I had filmed way more than 3 scenes.
Mm-hmm.
So I had made more than $3,000.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they offered me that, like, again, I just wanted to be acknowledged. I wanted my feelings to be acknowledged. I wanted to be treated like a human
Being.
being.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, after having to go through this, having to talk to this owner who did not care and literally laughed in my face and told me, yeah, I knew that this person was an alcoholic. And so what? After, trying to get this director to trying to basically force them to do what they were supposed to do, make it right, and they didn't. I was fed up, and I endured a lot of suffering, and I'm still enduring suffering. So I made it clear that I did want to be financially compensated.
Mm-hmm.
So them offering me $3,000 was very disrespectful
Mm-hmm.
because, and I'm not saying this to brag or to act like I'm
You're
a
good
big,
at what you do. Say it, baby.
yeah,
You're good at
I'm
what you
good
do,
at
and
what I do.
you make good
So
money.
I make good money, so I can make that by myself. So what do you think you're really trying to do to offer me $3,000 for lost wages when the fact is that I make more than that by myself?
I have a question for you. And it's one I haven't asked you, even when we've been on the phone. Have you ever thought about getting a therapist?
Yes, I have.
Um, you may not, COVID is still real. I don't know if they're, because I know my therapist is not seeing people in the flesh. It's all telehealth and things like that. But have you heard of Talkspace? Where you can,
No.
it's like talkspace.com or something like that. And you can get therapy and uh, even prescriptions, but you don't need that. But well, who knows? It could spark depression. This could do a lot. But Talkspace allows you to pay a fee, and you have services that help you with therapy and counseling and things like that. Um, I'm gonna look into that with you when we get off the camera. We'll talk about that. But what do you want to come from telling your story?
I want people to listen.
Mm.
I want people to treat me like a human being so that they can treat themselves like a human being, because I'm not the first.
Yeah, you
I
damn
am
sure
not the
won't be the
last.
last.
And I'm not the last. So I know I'm not the only person this has happened to. I know it's still going on.
I want
So
to say something. I want to put a pin in that right there.
mhm,
So you made the video. You were already affiliated with all of these other adult film stars, different companies everywhere. You guys are working together. You guys are doing them just for fans together. They see your video. Did anyone else come forward?
no one else came forward.
So knowing that it's happening in the industry, you weren't the first and you won't be the last. How did it make you feel that everybody else was pretty much just resigned to allowing it to happen?
I I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit disappointed, but at the same time, like, I kind of expected it, only because a lot of these stars that I have worked with still work with these studios, and I understand how it is. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna fault any performer for working with these studios, because they need to pay their bills the same way I need to pay my bills.
I have a question for you. Did any of the filming, the stars, stop working with you behind this?
Yes. So a lot of performers that I had prior had filmed with prior and did scenes
Mm-hmm.
with. Um, some of them just did not keep the same energy in terms of when we
Mm-hmm.
filmed, when we
Mm-hmm.
worked together. Even, a lot of them I hung out with out of work, and everything seemed fine. We treated each other like human beings, as we should, and everything was cool. And when they started working, pretty much what happened was that, like, there was a situation where one of the performers I worked with,
Mm-hmm.
they made it seem like they wanted to work again. We filmed a couple of videos. They made it seem like they wanted to work again. And then about like a week later, they tell me, oh, I don't want to work with you. They tried to make it seem like it was because of something else. And that something else was already addressed. And when it was addressed at the time, it was addressed prior to them not wanting to work with me. They made it seem like they were cool. So basically, they told me they didn't want to work with me because it was bad for business.
So
So,
I have a question for you.
yeah.
And it's not a question, it's more of an observation.
Yeah.
So I need everybody listening to understand now that, is it safe to say that just because you guys are shooting scenes together and working together, you guys aren't friends, you're colleagues?
Correct.
So you guys really don't all know each other. You're just all trying to make your money so that you can make your lives happen. It's a job.
Correct.
Not everybody's not all one big happy family. It's not kumbaya. These people come in, they do what they get paid to do, and they leave. They take their money and they leave.
Exactly.
I just want that out there because I have a lot of babies that have even spoken to me about getting into adult entertainment, and I've never discouraged them, but I want them to understand that it's not a family. Like, it's the same thing in entertainment, and as far as other facets of entertainment, we're not friends. you know like, we are, you and I are, but we're not friends. We're working together. We're
Mhm.
pushing our brands. We're associating our brands with each other because it's a good look. It's a good look.
Mhm.
And then for them to tell you, oh, it's no longer a good look, and give you no explanation why.
Yep. And after they gave, they told me, oh, it's bad for business. I saw them working with that same studio, which employed the director, which sexually assaulted me. Yeah.
How do you feel right now?
Right now, I'm doing a lot better than I was. It is very triggering. It is very depressing. It is very like hurtful. It's upsetting. And, I'm not okay, but I am also not a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I refuse to be victimized.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that I'm just really not happy with just everything that happened, but the best thing for me to do that really helps me and makes me feel better is just to talk about it.
Mm-hmm. And this is the thing, because I said this to you too before, and I wanted you to understand I was not being insensitive. I just did not want you to say their name and get yourself in trouble. And, it could have gone a different way. So that's why I wanted to coach you on how to tell your story
Correct.
this way. But I definitely feel your pain. I've had some things happen in my career too. We don't choose to work by ourselves for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
We don't choose to be our own bosses for no fucking reason.
Mm-hmm.
There usually has to be something that sparks that, and it's usually in this area. It's usually in this area. Is
Yep.
there anything? I'm gonna ask you the same question I asked Trap, because I want to wrap it up, because it's clean. It's clean, and I want them to see it clean. If there is any advice you can give to an aspiring adult entertainer trying to get into the industry, someone like you who had never been to, Tinseltown, and, try and you see it and it's calling you and it's beckoning you, what would you tell the young entertainer trying to get into the adult entertainment industry?
Do not trust anyone.
Why?
Nobody.
Because this can happen.
Nobody, because what's going to happen is that you're going to think, of course, we're all ignorant. You can't help that. We're all born ignorant. No one knows everything.
Right.
But at the same time, people are going to tell you what they want you to believe. And what that means is that they're going to make it seem like it's all glitz and glamour. It's so easy. This is all you have to do. Nothing is what it's cracked up to be. And everybody that you see that seems so glamorous and seems so successful, you don't know what they had to do to get there.
Right. Right. And I'm just going to be honest. The price was too high for me. Price was too high. I didn't want to pay that price. I wasn't going to pay that price, especially when what I was coming to the table with belonged to me.
Mm-hmm. You are the table.
Okay. The wood, everything. I just couldn't do it. Mariano, I'm out here. I said your real name.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. Because we're friends, and I'm doing this professionally, but I am really angry that my baby had to have this happen. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna say it again. I want you to come home. But this is the thing. You like where you are. Stay where you are. Just look at other avenues of income.
Exactly.
And my thing is, even with what you're doing, just keep doing it. I said this the other day. Every single day, there's some young, hot Black and Latin man turning 18 years old, turning 21. There will be people to film with. It just won't be. And that's the thing. Same thing with why I'm doing it this way. I don't have to interview celebrities. Why? They've already been interviewed. We know what they eat and what they don't eat, and what, where they go and what they don't go. What we don't know is all of these fantastic stories out here in the world. And I'm out here in the world. I don't live in a bubble. I want to know the stories out here. I'm interested in life, not the smoke in the mirrors.
The truth.
Yeah. Once again, I apologize, but we're going to work on it. We're gonna work on it. And I'm gonna say this. I said it to you on the phone. I was really bothered that your video has been up for so long and no other performers came out and said, you know, this happened to me too, and this happened to me too. And I want to add another layer on this before we close. Men don't like telling.
Yep.
We think and feel that it emasculates us.
Exactly.
But I know for a fact I have counseled models and actors and singers and dancers for 20 years who were men and had this happen. And it's no, can't nobody know that this happened to me. No, I don't want to tell nobody. No, I don't want to do nothing about it. No, I'm gonna just grind.
Yep.
And then they grinded themselves right out of their futures, their passions, their careers. They now live a shady existence. And when I say shady, I mean shady as in no sunlight for the passion that they let go. You know, you become you're not that vibrant self anymore. Now you're medicating however you can to just kind of get through.
And I want to touch on that exactly. You literally read my mind. LA, Los Angeles is a place where drugs are normalized, where drugs are part of the nightlife, and everybody thinks, oh, that's just how it is. No. What my eyes have been open to is that the reason why all these people out here are doing drugs, there's a reason.
Yeah. They're trying to cope with the bullshit they got to take and deal with every day.
Because when you don't talk about what you're going through, when you don't open up, when you close yourself off, when you shut down, when you reject,
you got to do something.
What happens. That's what happens. You end up trying to escape because you don't want to face reality. Nobody wants to feel like a victim. Nobody wants to feel like, oh, this happened to me. But it's happening to all of us.
You know what's so crazy? I learned in therapy that women especially turn to drugs when they've been sexually assaulted, molested. I have, and I'm just going to open up about my family very quickly. It's their story, so I won't go too deep because, like I said, it's their story. But I knew that my mother, my aunt, and my uncle had been sexually assaulted by their father.
Yeah.
And all three of them did drugs. All three of them tried to numb the pain. That's as far as I'm going to say, because it's their story. But I know firsthand the devastation that this can cause the person and everybody who loves them.
Yep.
My life was a living hell because of this. Thank you for telling your story. And thank you for allowing me to guide you so that we didn't get in trouble. Because the powers that be, the monsters that be, they're monsters and they're still in power.
Yep.
So we do have to be very careful how we do what we do. But just because we have to be careful doesn't mean that we can't tell our stories and get the point out. So I'm going to end this because this is going up immediately. Immediately.
Thank you so much.
Yes. No, I thank you for being brave enough to share your story. And I thank you for being brave enough to continue. You didn't run home with your tail between your legs. I know many who did. I know many who ran and never looked back. But you were like, no, this is my first time away from home. And just because you are a monster and you tried to fuck it up for me, I'm not going to let you fuck it up. I love how you said, I am not a victim. You do not win.
Exactly.
Yeah. So ladies and gentlemen, I want you to understand that you are hearing the story of Papi Suave, adult entertainer, human being, and my friend. Say bye to the people.
Bye, everyone.